A developing situation with suspicious and potentially explosive packages. A scare tonight as the search continues for who is sending pipe bombs to critics of President Donald Trump and news organizations. Tonight in New York City, the Time Warner Center was evacuated.
A pair of unattended packages prompted a partial evacuation of that building. Investigators evacuated the second and third floors of the center's mall. The first floor stayed open. They quickly determined the packages were not a threat.
Meantime, the focus is on this postal facility near Miami, Florida. This is where investigators believe some of the 10 suspicious packages were processed. They were sent to prominent Democrats in multiple locations this week, including to former President Barack Obama, former Vice President Joe Biden, and former presidential candidate Hillary Clinton.
Countless packages will soon be delivered as we quickly approach the holiday season. How do you know what ends up on your doorstep is safe?
The North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation says you have to stop and think before you open a package. As WFMY News 2's Jessica Winters explains, the SBI's bomb squad has responded to about 100 calls this year.
As of today, 99.
That's how many calls the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation Bomb Squad has responded to this year, according to Commander Tim Looper.
Some of them are people making homemade explosives. Some of them are suspicious packages that don't turn out to be anything.
What are the telltale signs of a suspicious package? Commander Looper says they come in many forms.
Are there any strange odors or sounds coming from the package?
I asked you, would you open a package that had a return address or name you didn't recognize?
I'd be curious to what's sent to me, by no matter who.
If it had my name on it, I would.
You would open it?
Yes.
I like to ask myself, is it expected? Is it normal? And does it belong?
I would look, at the postage, and if it was over postage, I definitely wouldn't open it.
Commander Looper says if you get a package you think is suspicious, don't touch it, don't move it, don't even tilt it. Call 911 immediately. The average amount of calls the North Carolina SBI bomb squad responds to every year is 120. Of that average,
10 to 20 of those might be suspicious packages.
So the SBI bomb squad says they rarely respond to threats in the triad, and that's because both the Greensboro and Winston-Salem police departments have their own bomb squads.